We are heading to South America for this explainer, and I have to tell you, I am incredibly excited about this one. We are exploring a place that completely redefines the word superlative. The sheer volume of hidden wonders, geological marvels, and ancient mysteries we're about to uncover is going to absolutely blow your mind.
Okay, let's dive right into this.
So, think you know Peru? Be honest with yourself. If you're like most people, your brain immediately goes to two very specific things. You picture stunning ancient ruins nestled high up in the clouds, and you picture really, really cute llamas. For almost everybody, that is the baseline assumption. But the reality is a dizzying list of absolute extremes. We are talking about actively inhabited floating islands on mountain lakes, massive, unexplained lines drawn in the desert, and literally the birthplace of the mighty Amazon River. The volume of hidden wonders here is just staggering.
And that brilliantly illustrates how the whole llama and ruin stereotype is really just scratching the surface. It's the postcard version, but the actual country is so much wilder. Let's start breaking these down.
Let's jump right into sustenance with a massive number, 4,000. That is the number of different potato varieties cultivated right here in Peru. The humble potato was actually invented, meaning first cultivated, in the Peruvian Andes over 10,000 years ago. And we aren't just talking about your standard brown russet. These range in vibrant colors from deep blue to bright purple. It is such a monumental point of cultural pride that Peruvians actually celebrate a National Potato Day every year on May 30th to honor this ancient agricultural invention. Now, what's really interesting is Peru's absolute, undeniable dominance when it comes to alpacas. A massive 85% of the entire global alpaca population. That is roughly 4.5 million animals, all living right here, which is an absolute geek-out moment for anyone who loves textiles. Their wool naturally grows in 22 different colors. It's softer than cashmere, it's hypoallergenic, and it's actually warmer than sheep's wool. For thousands of years, this incredible animal has been the very foundation of Andean textile culture. And speaking of foundations, the human ingenuity here is just astounding. Up at 3,810 meters above sea level on the world's highest navigable lake, the Uros people literally build their own islands out of totora reeds. And they don't just build them, they live on them. Because they're organic, the bottom layers are constantly rotting away into Lake Titicaca, meaning they have to continuously replenish the reeds on top just to keep their homes afloat.
Incredibly, there are still about 50 of these man-made floating islands actively inhabited today.
Speaking of water, let's shatter a massive geographical assumption. If I say Amazon River, you probably instantly think of Brazil, right? Well, the Amazon actually begins in Peru. And what's wild is that this was only definitively established quite recently, back in 2014. The ultimate source is the Mantaro River, high up in the Peruvian Andes. It flows for hundreds of kilometers through Peru, gathering strength before it ever even crosses the border. Now, I am genuinely blown away by this next one. Cotahuasi Canyon near Arequipa plunges to a staggering depth of over 3,200 meters. To put that into perspective, the famous Grand Canyon in the US is less than half that depth. Cotahuasi is the deepest canyon on planet Earth.
And just to be playful about it, the nearby Coca Canyon is right there competing for the exact same title. Just picture massive Andean condors effortlessly soaring on the thermal currents deep within these immense world record-breaking gorges.
Let's move on and see how this builds a picture of a constantly evolving landscape. This is Vinicuna, famously known as Rainbow Mountain. Sitting at 5,200 meters above sea level, this peak features dramatic, vibrant stripes of red, yellow, green, and orange rock. But here is the crazy part. Nobody knew it looked like this until incredibly recently. For centuries, these stunning mineral deposits were kept completely secret, hidden safely beneath thick layers of ice. It wasn't until the glaciers retreated in the 2010s that this ancient natural wonder was finally unveiled. From fresh natural wonders, let's pivot to ancient, enduring mysteries, the Nazca Lines. Between 500 BC and 500 AD, massive geoglyphs were carved directly into the stark Peruvian desert. Gigantic shapes of a hummingbird, a spider, a condor, a monkey, some stretching hundreds of meters across. For 2,000 years, they have survived intense wind, rain, and the relentless march of time.
And today?
They remain totally unexplained. Because they are so unbelievably large, they are only fully visible from the sky. There is an intense, ongoing debate over their true purpose. Were they massive astronomical calendars designed to track the stars, or grand religious offerings meant for the gods? Okay, we have finally arrived at the famous ruins. Machu Picchu was built around 1450 AD and abandoned roughly a century later. But the real focus here is the mystery. It sat up there perfectly hidden, unknown to the outside world until 1911. Archaeologists still debate if it was a royal estate, a religious sanctuary, or an astronomical observatory. But the most jaw-dropping element is the architectural precision. The stones fit together so flawlessly, using absolutely no mortar, that to this day, you cannot even slide a single credit card between them. Shifting from ancient stones to vibrant living culture, Peru has the second largest number of shamans in the entire world, trailing only behind India. Traditional healing and shamanism have thrived and been actively practiced here for over 3,000 years. It is a deep, continuous tradition. In fact, the use of ayahuasca, a plant-based ceremonial brew used in spiritual healing, is so deeply rooted in the society that Peru legally recognizes it as a national cultural patrimony. And that vibrant cultural blending brings us perfectly to the modern powerhouse that is Lima. Lima has been named the world's leading culinary destination multiple times over. Michelin-starred chefs actually travel from all over the globe just to study under Peruvian chefs. So the crucial point is this: the food here is a masterpiece born from collision. Peruvian cuisine takes indigenous Andean ingredients, like our 4,000 varieties of potatoes, and flawlessly blends them with Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, and African influences to create a gastronomic experience that is entirely unique. So let's bring all this together, because the sheer scale of what this country holds is hard to wrap your head around. This is a country that literally invented the potato. A place where human ingenuity built and sustained floating islands on the world's highest navigable lake. A home to ancient peoples who carved giant, mysterious drawings into the desert that can only truly be seen from the sky. And a land where retreating glaciers peeled back ice to reveal towering mountains painted naturally in 7 dramatic colors. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. When you step back and look at the millions of alpacas, the source of the Amazon, the deepest canyons on Earth, and the mysteries carved into the desert, Peru is a country where Machu Picchu is merely the introduction.